Good morning! Halika, magkape tayo. Welcome to the morning coffee with Father Jerry. Oo nga pala, before I start, thank you sa nagpadala ng mug sa akin. Hindi na ito pabalik-balik. Bago ito, bigay ninyo. Thank you. Our scriptural reading for today is taken from the book of Matthew, chapter 4, verses 18 to 22. It says, as Jesus was walking beside the Sea of Galilee, he saw two brothers, Simon called Peter and his brother Andrew. They were casting a net into the lake, for they were fishermen. Come, follow me, Jesus said, and I will send you out to fish for people. At once they left their nets and followed him. Going on from there, he saw two other brothers, James, son of Zebedee, and his brother John. They were in a boat with their father Zebedee, preparing for their nets. Jesus called them, and immediately they left the boat and their father and followed him. Thus far is the reading of the text for today. Today is Monday, and it's the first Monday of Advent. Let me just refresh our minds about Advent because we are into a new season starting yesterday, and sa weekdays ito ang pinaka-first start ng Advent season. Advent means a season or a period of time in the church. A period or a time of preparing, and while preparing, we continue praying because somebody is coming. So Advent is a period in which we prepare ourselves because somebody is about to come. So while preparing for this somebody who is to come, we don't stop our work. We don't stop the usual routine line of work because it's Advent season. No. It's a time for which we prepare, but while preparing for this somebody who is coming, we continue working while praying. Okay? Second point, this somebody who is to come on Advent is not Santa Claus. Ang dami ko kasing nababasa ngayon na i-extend daw ang Christmas dahil hindi makakarating si Santa Claus dahil kailangan pa daw siyang i-quarantine. Although it's a joke, pero I'm serious about it. Our Christmas doesn't focus on Santa Claus. And the one who is coming to town is not Santa Claus. It's the Lord Jesus himself. So literally, Advent season is a commemoration. It is a remembering of the first coming of Jesus. And what happened during his first coming into the world is being remembered, is being commemorated every year, year after year, as we prepare for the inauguration or celebration of Christmas. But beyond Christmas is the essence of Advent because, ulitin natin, we are preparing for the second coming of Jesus. Advent is only a commemoration, a preparation, spiritual preparation for the coming of the Lord Jesus. What is the immediate coming of Jesus? The immediate coming is the commemoration of Christmas. That's why we celebrate Immediately after Advent, we celebrate Christmas. It's a day of remembering. It's not just a day of giving gifts, singing, eating, celebrating. Its essence is the commemoration of the coming of Christ in the form of the baby Jesus. It's not Santa Claus is coming to town. Beyond the immediate celebration of Christmas is the same again and again. Waiting, praying, in preparation for the coming of the second coming of Jesus. Call it parousia, call it the second coming of Jesus, call it judgment time, whatever. But Jesus is about to come. So we prepare. Immediate preparation, because it's Advent, is the coming of the commemoration, celebration of Christmas. But its essence is the preparation beyond Christmas. And that's the coming of the Lord the second time, anytime, any moment of the day. He may come tomorrow morning, noon, nighttime, whatever. What's important is we are prepared. So we as Christians should be focused on our preparation, immediate and the preparation beyond or after Christmas. That's the essence of Advent. Okay? So, the Gospel is about the calling of uh, the two brothers, James and John, sons of Zebedee, and Peter and his brother Andrew. Okay. While they were fishing, they were invited by the Lord to follow him. Simple an invitation, the Lord. He just said, "Come, follow me. I will make you fishers of men." Okay? So, this gospel today from Matthew 4 is actually this invitation and calling to come follow me. Actually, he focuses on the sending off of the 72 other disciples in addition to the first 12 apostles. So ito yung essence. Ito yung nangyari sa ating gospel today. Okay? So, ano bang meron sa gospel ngayon? While fishing, as I've said, these brothers, Peter, Andrew, James, and John, was caught in action and they were invited, while they were invited by Jesus. And then they were casting their nets. By the way, during the time of Jesus, there were three methods of fishing, I think. One is very common. Yung sa Bisaya is pamasol. Pamasol. It's made of a long string, may bait sa dulo, hinatapon sa malayo. Then may bait. Second is the drag net or casting net is the second. Yung casting net pala, ito yung it's in a circular form and might be as much as several feet across. It was skillfully cast into the water from the land or from the shallow water of the edge of the lake. Or yes, it was weighted with pellets of lead round the circumference. It sank into the sea and surrounded the fish. It was then drawn through the water as if the top of a bell tent were being drawn to land, and in it the fish were caught, and it catches different or all kinds of fishes. Ito yung ginagawa sa dalawang magkapatid, si Peter and si John. Sa Bisaya, meron kaming tawag nito pokot. I don't know sa Tagalog dito. It is just, kinakasts around the shore o shoreline, then hinahatak siya. At forming a bell, yung kanyang net, then it catches everything. Hinahatak papuntang baybaying dagat. So ito yung tinatawag na casting the drag net. Yes. Casting the net. Net. Simple lang net. Ang pangatlo is they call it as the drag net. Drag net. Ito yung sinasakay sa bangka, dinadala sa laot. Hinuhulog sa malalim, and then it catches also. Pag hinahatak nila pabalik sa boat. Basta there's a boat needed on this particular kind of net. At ito naman ang ginagawa sa dalawang magkakapatid. Si James at si John, sons of Zebedee. They were about to start going to the sa malalim upang ihulog yung net. And it was that moment that Jesus came there in the presence of their father Zebedee. And simply lang, again, ang invitation, come, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. Okay? So that's the background in the gospel today. The most important question is, what is it for us? What is God's message for us in this particular gospel text today? Okay? So let me share with you my reflections on the gospel just read. So here comes Jesus walking by the lakeside, and as he walked, he called Peter and Andrew and James and John. It is not to be thought that this was the first time that they had heard and had seen him. It is presumed that they all have already experienced. They already have a sort of experience with Jesus. As John tells the story, actually coming from Matthew today, yes, as Matthew tells the story, at least some of them were already disciples of John the Baptist, like Andrew, and had already listened to him several times. But in this moment, there came to them the challenge once and for all to throw their lot with him. The invitation. Jesus too called on these fishermen to follow him, 4 of them. It is interesting to note that what kind of men they were called, or they were invited. They were not men of great scholarship or influence or wealth or social background or social standing. They were not poor, though. They were simple, working people with no great background. And certainly anyone would have said with no great future. So it's a sure thing pala yung invitation na yes, for sure. If they were assured of great things to come, sure they would readily answer, yes, we will follow you, Lord. It was these ordinary men whom Jesus chose. What Jesus needs is ordinary folk, ordinary people who will give him themselves totally. Somebody who can do anything with people like that. And further, these men were fishermen. It has been pointed out that many scholars that these good fishermen must possess these very qualities which will turn them into good fishers of men later on. Number 1, qualities of these men, fishermen and soon to be fishers of men. Number 1, he must have patience. Underline, he must have patience. He must learn to wait patiently until the fish will take the bait. Lalo lang yung method number 1. If he is restless and quick to move, he will never make a good fisherman. The good fisher of men will have need of lots and lots and lots of patience. It is but rarely in preaching or in teaching that he will see quick results. He must learn to wait and wait and wait and wait. That's quality number 1 of a good preacher, of a good disciple. He must have patience. Once he preaches, that doesn't mean automatically he will see its result. No, not yet. Number 2 quality of a good fisherman or disciple. He must have perseverance. He must have perseverance. He must never learn to be discouraged, but always to try and try and try again. That's the message. The good preacher and teacher must not be discouraged when nothing seems to happen in his life as a preacher, in his life with his congregation. He must always be ready to try and try and try again. Number three, a good fisherman, he must have courage. He must be ready to risk and to face the fury of the sea and of the gale. A good preacher and teacher must be well aware that there is always a danger in telling the truth. Call it consequence. But what is important is we are telling the truth. And there are lots of people who used to deny the truth. Get ready always, because not everyone automatically accepts and believe in you. So have patience and have a courage. Just go on, try and try until you succeed. Number four, he must have an eye for the right moment. Ganda ito, right moment. Because the wise fisherman knows well that there are times when it is hopeless to fish. He knows when to cast the net and when not to cast the net. The good preacher and teacher chooses his own moment. Sabi nga nito sa Bisaya, yung reading of the signs. In Bisayan, we call it, ano ba to? Huwag na lang, hindi lumabas sa isip ko. Anyway, they must have the eye for the right moment. Number five, last, he must fit to bait to the fish. Ibig sabihin, one fish will rise to one bait and the other to another. To each his own, kumbaga. Paul said that he became all things to all men if by any chance he might win some. Ibig sabihin, hindi ito instant na mahuli mo ang lahat. The wise preacher and the wise teacher knows that the same approach will not win all men at the same time. He may even have to know and recognize his own limitations as a preacher. So, hindi automatic. We always have our own downside, downside, and rejections, neglect. Ano po bang mga negative experiences na meron ng isang disciple or preacher? What's important is the qualities na sinasabi natin. We may have to discover that there are certain spheres or things in which he himself can work and others cannot. There are things that will become effective in our work, in our ministry, and there are also things and times that we are not productive. That's life. That's the normal journey of life. We call it ups and downs. But the most important thing, it is part and parcel of our life as a disciple of Jesus. Okay? So, mga kapatid, paano to? It's a reminder to all of us and it challenges us to reflect on our commitment to continue our work in the ministry as preachers, ordained or non-ordained. Make sure that these qualities are present in our lives as a minister of the church. Ano to? Thank you and good morning to all. Don't forget your coffee. See you tomorrow.